Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we.
Tony, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Still relishing that win. And unfortunately we couldn't get the Losers Lounge last night, but we here this morning.
Yeah, no doubt. What you think about the game last night?
I loved it, man. I loved it. Got to get a different perspective, a different view on RJ and Quickley, playing for the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed out. You know what I mean? They came out. They've been playing well, since they got to Toronto. But to see them against us, you know what I mean? It was definitely bittersweet in a way. You know what I mean? I'm glad they played well, but I'm more happy we got the win.
Yeah, for real. I thought the Knicks did a good job, just honoring them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They did the little thing before the game, during introductions where they not anything major, but they introduced those two guys last.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the introduction that, they would have gotten if they were a Knick.
Absolutely.
And then the crowd gave them a nice ovation and all of that. So, it was a love fest last night, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Then they buttered them up in at the timeout.
Yeah, they buttered them up at the timeout a little bit. Both of them were emotional, but I think Quickley was really trying to hold his emotions back.
Yep. He didn't even want. My bad. He didn't even want to look at the tribute. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? He was on the bench, he eyes closed, like, you know what I'm saying, breathing, like you could tell, like it was like, let me calm myself down. But he was even doing that before the game during introductions.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his eyes closed and he was breathing. You could tell he was like, let me get my emotions in check. You know what I'm saying?
He looked like Randall out there before the game.
Exactly. I mean, he might have got some of that from Randall, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? He might have got some of that from Randall, but both of them played well. And I hope they have good careers in Toronto. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll be following the Raptors just so I can follow those two. You know what I'm saying? Normally,
Absolutely.
I didn't pay too much attention to the Raptors. Just one of those teams I didn't really pay a lot of attention to, unless they were playing the Knicks. But now that Quickley and RJ are there, I mean, I'll definitely be paying a lot more attention to the Raptors. I'll save them on my YouTube TV on the League Pass. I have them saved as one of the games that I record, so I can go back and watch. But it was definitely enjoyable to watch those guys play for the Raptors. And then it was almost like a like you got your whole, you got some cousins that moved away, you know what I'm saying? And they came back and, everybody's having a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost like something like that. They showed the shot, where RJ gave like this crazy look to Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? For whatever it was. I don't know what it was, but gave a crazy look to Tibbs. So, it's sad when players like that have to go. You know what I'm saying? Because like they were saying on the telecast, like Clyde was saying, you form a family with people, you spend more time with them than you do with your own family sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You eat together, you share secrets, not secrets, but personal information and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it becomes it can become sad. You know what I mean? And then Randall has some great things to say about RJ and Quickley. You know what I mean? So that was nice. Now that they got it out the way, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if you see them play even better there now. You know what I'm saying? Now that they got this out the way, because for sure, they knew this, they played their games and stuff like that, but this had to be looming a little bit. It would have been for me. You know what I'm saying? I would have been thinking about it like, damn, what's it gonna be like when I go back to the Garden? You know what I'm saying? I'm nervous about going back to the and it's crazy because you played in an arena for all these years, right? And most nights while you're playing for the Knicks, you're not nervous while you're going out, stuff like that. But you know, you're still going to play a basketball game, but you're nervous.
Yeah.
You're going to do the same thing you do every night, but you're nervous.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was bittersweet. You know what I mean? It was I mean, not even, it was more sweet bitter. You know what I mean? Because we got the victory. You know what I mean? Everything was happy. What was your biggest takeaway? Just from the interactions in the game and everything. Like, because for me, for me, it was just, I think that you could tell there's genuine love between the players. You know what I mean? Randall and RJ. Quickley, like there's genuine love. We didn't really see that with some of the other players who you know what I mean? Who
Exactly.
moved on from the Knicks.
Yeah, definitely I took that away. Genuine love for everybody. You know what I mean? There used to always be, people would say, well, RJ and Randall don't like each other. You know what I'm saying? Just most recently, as much as Quickley was, would mention being traded, and he wrote the letter. He hadn't said anything about Jalen Brunson. So people were like, "Oh, he hasn't mentioned Brunson yet." Da da da. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't. You know what I mean? And I even brought it up on the game preview and asked Ron, do you think there's anything between the two? And at the end, you seen them. They hugged it out, and not that they had anything to hug out, but they hugged. You know what I'm saying? Indicating no, there's no animosity. You know what I mean? I know if I was Quickley, I would have been a little jealous. Like, yo, this dude just came here. I didn't even get a shot. You know what I mean? And he still could have been, but it doesn't mean he had anything personal against Brunson. They hugged, RJ before the game. I mean, you can really see the connection with RJ and Julius too. You know what I'm saying? You could really, really see it because, he came and hugged them and all that stuff before the game. They hugged and talked after the game. You know what I mean? So it was, it was a nice moment, I think. Real nice moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And before we do, let's just listen in quick. I think you should be able to hear this. Let me know if you can't. This is Randall speaking on RJ Quickley and all of that.
Here, but you said in the past sometimes you can tell it's going to be a good night. Was this one of them with this triple double?
Yeah, I didn't know it'd be this, but I felt good all last night, this morning, so I'm just glad we got the win.
This is the very first time you've ever played against RJ and IQ. What was it like out there? Can you take us inside this game, the emotions going on?
Yeah, the tip-off happened, and I saw them in a different jersey, and it kind of tripped me out a little bit. Keep going, boy.
Jalen Brunson is hugging Julius Randle. Man, Randle had to push him over.
Clearly a lot of emotions going on, but get back to it. Tell me about it.
No, you said tell you about that?
No.
Jalen's crazy. I don't know, but yeah, it kind of tripped me out. Like I saw Quick bring up the ball and he had on a Raptors jersey, and I was just like, I wasn't used to it, so it threw me off. But once we got going, everything evened out.
Overall, can you sum up for us what those guys mean to you?
They mean a lot to me. That relationship that I built with them, the 4 years that they were here, RJ 4.5 years, whatever it was, is really special. And that's something I'll take with me forever. Those guys mean a lot to me, and I want the best for them. New York should be extremely proud of them. They raised them. Seriously, they raised them. They were brought up here, and now they're going to take off, and they're going to flourish for many more years. So I'm proud of them.
Thanks, Julius. Mike.
Yeah, there you go, man. Emotional moments. Emotional moments, but that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Nevertheless, nevertheless, they're now, I don't know if they're our rivals, but they're the opponent. They're the opposition now. So, RJ and Quickley, welcome to the Losers Lounge.
First time.
That is RJ and Quickley right there, the baby Raptors. That is RJ and Quickley on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. The two crying baby Raptors. You know what I'm saying? Scotty said, well, welcome to the rebuild. It's going to be a long journey. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be that long for them. They have some, with Quickley and RJ and Scotty Barnes, you know what I'm saying? They got some young talent.
I think they're ahead of a lot of other teams in the rebuild. And some of them have been on it for a lot longer.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Messiah's, probably done a good job of using OG and Pascal to bring back young players and picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To start gearing up for a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? So I could imagine it being something like OKC, right? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if it's, OKC for a few years, they were really down in the doldrums. I don't know if it's going to be that long, though. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if it's going to be that long. I think, listen, they battled the Knicks for the first half. Obviously, emotions were high for both. Seemed like they had a good defensive scheme. You know what I'm saying? They had a good defensive scheme. The Knicks, a more talented group, more experienced group, an older group, figured it out in the second half and took over.
And you got to think, like, my perspective would be their rebuild is starting now, right? As opposed to off the championship, because they didn't get anything in return for Kawhi.
Right.
They didn't get anything in return for Van Vliet. You know what I mean? Like, so now this seems to be the year that they're actually pulling the trigger and trying to secure the future, as opposed to just trying to keep in that race that they were in prior to and right after the championship. So to me, the rebuild is just now starting, and again, they're in a good spot to be starting a rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, because they didn't really do anything post championship. They didn't really try to upgrade or they just were coasting since the championship. So now they putting moves together. I think they're in good shape.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're in good shape too. I don't know what their whole salary cap and all of that stuff looks like, but they're definitely in good shape. Let me ask you this, because I don't think I ever asked you this, just, about the trade the Knicks made. Were you surprised given the whole lawsuit going on?
Oh yeah. I mean, when we heard about the lawsuit, I think 99% of us was like, all right, we're not doing any business with them.
Right.
And the fact that it hasn't been dropped and it's still going, absolutely, it's surprising.
Yeah. I mean that means that Leon and Messiah weren't really involved in that lawsuit. It's more on the, they're managers, but like more just on the organizational level, and the lawyers are just handling it. While everybody else, they're just, I'm gonna do my job. You know what I mean? So,
And that's the sign of true professionalism.
yeah.
Let the lawyers do their job, and
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing my job.
Yep. And it's also a sign of two, I think, good general managers saying, looking at OG, like from the Raptors standpoint, and saying, this will be a good spot for you. Right? They think you'll fit, we think you'll fit. Hopefully you think you'll fit there, and it should work. And the Knicks looking and saying, this is a perfect spot for Quickley and RJ. You know, they'll have a chance to quickly have a chance to start. RJ's going back to Canada. You know what I mean? You know, the personnel fit would be good. You know what I'm saying? And we're putting them in the right spot. And I think that's something that players want to know too. Like when I sign a contract and you know, I don't have any kind of a trade clause or you know, no trade clause or something like that. So now I kind of put my career in your hands a little bit, some of it
Mhm.
at least. You know what I mean? Because you can trade me to whoever. You know what I mean? You can trade me. So now I'm kind of trusting that you have my best interest at heart as well. You know, and when people see that in a front office, I think they have confidence in going there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And that's one of the perks I would say to having a former agent as the
yeah,
president. You know
right,
what I mean?
right. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Um, Nathan says, can't wait for the NBA draft lottery. Yeah, they'll be in the draft lottery. There's no doubt about that. You know what I'm saying? What's their record right now?
Hmm. I'm not sure.
I'm about to check right now. I mean, of course they're down in the, you know, towards the. I don't want to say the bottom. They're 12th in the Eastern Conference, 16-27. They're 3-7 in the last 10 games. You would
Hmm.
expect that, you know, with the trade of Pascal Siakam, they'll probably get a little bit worse. You know, they're not going to be Detroit or Washington or San Antonio. I don't think they're not going to be that bad, you know, but I don't think I see them contending for a playing spot. Do you?
No, you said 12th right now.
They're 12th right now, but of course, a lot of those games, you know, they've played 43 games. So 33, they've played, 43 games. So 32 of those games was based on having OG and Pascal Siakam.
Yeah. No, I don't see them making a push for 10.
Yeah.
I don't.
You know, unless something just clicks, you know, probably not. Right. Frank says this is Scotty's team 110%, but RJ is our best player right now, and it ain't close. What do you take from that?
I think that's interesting for the simple fact, you know, Scotty is for sure a two-way player. You know what I mean? And so I don't know how you analyze that. Some guys value two-way guys more than, you know, one way, but I think RJ has the opportunity to make that his team because he has the country behind him. I think that right there is like, it's gonna be times where it feels like it's RJ's team. You know what I mean? And I think Scotty's gonna feel that as well. Because he's gonna have the support of the country. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But
But as far as best player on the floor, I think he was last night.
Who, RJ?
Yeah. For the Raptors. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Scotty, he didn't look as good as I seen him in the past last night. You know, there are other nights, you know, in the past where I'm like, wow, this kid is really gonna be nice. You know, he looked less experienced last night for some reason. You know what I mean? And maybe it was the moment too.
The atmosphere, yeah.
Atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Because
know how many.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure the Garden was probably like he's never seen it before. You know what I mean? I'm sure the atmosphere in the Garden, I'm sorry, Scotty hasn't experienced that as a Raptor You know what I mean? As an opponent.
Exactly. And Frank said you can see Scotty's immaturity within his game. He doesn't have that one or two consistent moves he can go to anytime. All right, so let me ask you this: who do you think is in the future, say 4 years from now, who ends up being the best player? Scotty, Quickley, RJ?
Mm. If they all stay together,
Yeah.
I'm going with Quickley because that's my guy. I'm going with Quickley because that's my guy. But I think the three of them together can make a hell of a tandem. You know what I mean? Especially at their ages. You said 4 years. That's entering their primes. I think both Scotty and Quickley have a higher ceiling than RJ, but I think RJ has the highest floor.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they like if Quickley and Scotty don't reach their ceilings, you know what I mean? RJ could just be the most consistent, most solid out of the three. But if those two, if we talk about just reaching their ultimate potential, I would go Quickley than Scotty. And that's more because of the two-way ability, to be honest.
For Quickley?
Both of them and Scotty.
Okay. What did you think last? I mean, talking about two-way ability, they had RJ on Brunson in the beginning of the game. I didn't expect them to do that.
I liked it.
And maybe RJ was like, listen, I know what he does. I can guard him. And maybe they did that some in practice or something like that, to prepare for Brunson playing against taller guards. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Brunson had 13 points in the first quarter.
And am I correct in RJ guarding 94 feet?
Yeah. He was the 9 from the inbound.
Like
I think that was like part of their game. Not even let him get the ball, guard him from the inbound. You know what I'm saying? And then make other people have to get the ball. And it's something that the Knicks fell right into, and I hate when they do this. They get into this whole little game of forcing Brunson to get the ball, trying to run him around to get the ball instead of just playing. Now, your attention is, we got to get Brunson the ball. We got to get Brunson the ball. Get him the ball. And you're playing that little cat and mouse game while the shot clock is ticking down.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So, they had a nice defensive scheme in the first half. Now, in the second half, the Knicks figured them out and ran away with the game. But they had a nice defensive scheme in the first half. And, it's a young team. Sometimes it's hard for them when a team figures out your, what you're doing either defensively or whatever your strategy is, for them to now how do we pivot? You know what I'm saying? And older teams are a little bit better at doing that. So it's a sign of a young team, and they got to figure some of those things out. But they definitely had a good defensive scheme, and you could tell that RJ and Quickley gave them a lot of intel as to what the Knicks like to do, where people want the basketball, what players are going to do when they get the ball in certain spots and all of that. You know what I'm saying? In the first half, it just looked like Toronto had all the answers to any spot that the Knicks wanted to get to on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I was like, yeah, they definitely Quickley and RJ definitely gave Toronto a lot of intel. You know what I'm saying? A lot of intel. But that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. I mean, makes it kind of fun. This guy said RJ needs some help out there. What do you think?
Oh, I just thought it was a nice comment to read when I read it. You know what I mean? Because you never really heard that before. Like, um, but yeah, RJ was balling. You know, quickly started out hot, but I mean, what he had like 12 assists, I think. So he definitely was able to maintain it. You know, do what a point guard is supposed to do. I do think the rest of the team kind of was a little lackluster. Um, like you said, Barnes did look. He looked like a deer in headlights last night.
Right.
And the only other guy I think was like hitting shots. Granted, I don't know why the Knicks kept leaving him open. Was Grady? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a crazy name. Grady Dick. That's a
and,
crazy name.
and it was hilarious to hear the commentary when he hit a shot.
Right.
Said, no, I ain't even gonna say it.
Dick for 3. That's
I was gonna say penetrating, but okay.
right. I mean, that's a crazy one. I don't know.
Dick again. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably just use his first name.
Yeah,
I just like Grady for 3.
basically.
You know, Grady penetrates to the lane. Yeah, I would definitely use his first name. Ain't no doubt about that. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. Yeah, Clyde. Clyde. No, I mean, Clyde's not. I guess not even thinking about it. I don't know, but
Not at all.
I'd have been. Yeah, let me just use Grady. Let me just use Grady. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a while. I know. In high school, I know. I have a friend. His last name is Dix, right? But it's spelled Dix.
Mhm.
And every time, like, we were in like trainings, because I met him when I was older, and every time we would, they'd have us introduce, ourselves. He'd be like, "Yeah, my name is Larry Dix, Dix." I'm like, "Yo, why you always spell your last name?" He's like, "'Cause I want people to know how my last name is spelled." I was like, "All right, I dig it." I just put his full name out there. He's probably gonna be like, "Yo, what you doing?" I didn't mean to put his full name out there.
But nah, we get it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that used to be hilarious. Rao said, waiting patiently to see if the coach or Pascal gets blamed after this one. Oh, my bad. With a little facetious smile.
Pascal was there, Randall.
Say that again.
I said Pascal was there, Randall.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Pascal, what do you think about Pascal in Indiana and how that's going to look?
I think it's one of the better places that he could have gone. Because I think two things: they needed another guy that could create for himself and score the ball, but at the same time, he needs somebody who, when need be, could get him easy baskets. So I think it's going to be a good marriage. You know what I mean? I think they will, re-sign them or extend them, whichever. So yeah, I think it'll be a good fit. I do think there's going to be a learning curve to kind of acclimate him and for them to get accustomed to each other, which is going to be in our favor this year at the very least. Because
Right.
I think it's going to take a little bit of time to figure things out.
Yeah. Has he played yet? I don't think he's played yet.
I think he played last night or
Okay.
I think he played one game.
Okay. All right. Do you know how he did?
He scored the ball. I think the Pacers lost. I don't remember his numbers or anything, but I'm pretty sure he played fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and, speaking of Grady, Mike said if Grady would be DiVincenzo one day, that would be a win, and I'd be so happy. And then, Tony, you said?
Right now, it's Vincenzo, no D.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's undersized. Got to hit the weight room. And, yeah, defensively, Brunson was torching him.
Right.
I mean, seeking him out. I think he made 2 baskets in a row and was screaming and one. You know what I mean? And then the third one, he actually got the call. And I think he was screaming, "I told y'all," every time. But I mean, Brunson kills everybody. So
Right. I mean, the thing is, we kept leaving that dude open in the corner, though. And he was knocking them joints down. I was like, come on, man. Yeah, I don't know if it was just Brunson, but whoever,
yeah, wide open too.
Yeah, we kept leaving him open in the corner. He was killing it. This guy, LA said, like I said, Masai still needs to fix this ASAP. I kind of disagree with him. I think, they got, they got some good young talent in their building. I don't, obviously they have more to do, but I don't know what it is that he needs to fix.
Yeah, I think they're in a position that I think a lot of Knicks fans actually would have preferred we did, where they got, like you said, young, talented guys, where they could go ahead and keep building around that age range, that age group. You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as you're picking the right guys, I think they could still end up being a competitive team, for years to come as these guys get better and get into to reach their prime. So
Right.
again, I think that I think he started this year to do the things that he needed to do. It wasn't a home run like a Kawhi move, but this is, to me, is the second best direction you could go in, and that's just long-term, young, budding assets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No doubt about it. This guy said, look, it's one thing that the team is developing, but there needs to be more accountability in his roster.
So he's talking about the structure of the roster, not
Structure. Yeah, I guess the structure.
accountability of the players. Again, I think Masai is doing a good job. I think he's showing he's back on the job. Like for the past couple years, I would look at them like, well, what is he really doing? You know what I mean? He's just letting guys leave, not getting any type of compensation for players. It looked like they was headed that way this year before, moving OG, before moving Pascal. I think they still have a couple of veterans that they can get some more assets for, some more youth for, and continue in that direction.
Right. One of those guys could be Dylan Brown, right? This dude Mike says, I hope they can deal Brown and Dennis Schroeder, I guess, plus some of those picks for more prospects. I don't know if you deal Brown to the Knicks. I don't know if you're getting back any other prospects, unless Quentin Grimes goes in that trade. Tony, you want to say what Brown said in his press conference about being traded?
He said, I'm a dog. I play both ends of the court, and whatever Tibbs want me to do, I could do. And that, to me, is very telling, that you don't really hear players specifically mention opposing team's coach or what they could do for an opposing team.
Right.
Now, it could have been a direct question and he was just being candid and direct in his answer. But most times you hear players speaking generalizations as opposed to being specific.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did they specifically say Tibbs?
See,
Or come out that way?
they quoted him, but the headline was Brown's response to trade speculation. So I don't know if they were specific in. I mean, I would think they had to have say, what are your thoughts of the possibility of the Knicks trading for you or something of that manner, and then I would assume he specified in Tibbs as in like he knows what's going on over here.
Right. That's it almost sounded like, yeah, trade me there.
Endorsement, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a dog. I'll do whatever Tibbs want me to do, whatever he said. Like, sounds like, yeah, send me over there.
Yeah. I could play the 1, 2, 3, or 4. Like,
where'd you see that? I need to see the article. I want to hear it. I need to check it out.
I seen the headline piece on Bleacher Report.
Okay.
But I want to say it was from a tweet. So let me see if I can find it real quick. You could keep going.
So this is on the New York Post. I'm reading it from the New York Post.
Okay.
This came out 2:43 a.m. And just what you said. It doesn't say what the question is. It said, I'm a dog, Brown told the Post on Saturday night prior to the Raptors game. Prior to the game. I play extremely hard on both ends of the floor. I can do just about whatever Thibodeau needs me to do. Well, I mean, it has Thibodeau in parentheses. I guess I'd have to hear it. I don't know if he said Thibodeau's name or they're just putting it in parentheses for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But he did say, he said, I play extremely hard. I would think I'm the type of player he likes. Every time we play Tibbs, I go up to him and shake his hand just because of what he's done. Nothing but respect for Tibbs.
That's an endorsement. He want to be here.
That's an endorsement. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely an endorsement of, he said, I love New York. He said, I hated New York before I lived here. But as soon as I moved here, I loved it. Anytime you want to do something, you can do it. Great restaurants, great city. I love being back. Yeah, sounds like he would love to come play for the Knicks. And I'm pretty sure he's felt what it's like, being a net and having the Knicks as, the big brother in town. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure he's experienced that. And he's like, yeah, send me to the Knicks. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cody for the Cash App. He said it was a bizarre game. It felt like the Twilight Zone. It was definitely a little weird. Just like you're seeing two guys that you're used to seeing. So when you see their faces, it feels familiar to see their faces, but then, they're on another team. So when you're seeing certain moves that they do, it feels familiar, but they're doing it against you. A little weird.
It's like you normally cheering that move, and now you're like, you're like half happy, half upset.
Yeah, or it's like you're in a dream and you're on the way to work and you go to work, you take your usual route to get to work, and you would get there, and when you get there, it's a different building. And in your dream, you're like, what the heck is going on? You know what I'm saying? That was it was definitely a little bit bizarre, seeing that, when you're used to guys being on the team for so long. You know what I mean? Savvy said, it bothered me how natural RJ looked in that jersey. I mean, they both look, they both look natural in the jersey. You know what I'm saying? PA said, why are we so eager to run Randall off the three-point line? He shoots 29%, contain/contest, but he's much better from 2 than 3. I mean, I guess he doesn't know, Randall can get hot from the 3-point line. I mean, he's not shooting it as great as this season, but, Randall can get Randall can get hot from the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I dig what he's saying, but he can definitely get hot from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I mean, I think it's pick your poison though. And I think what he's saying is I'd rather him shoot the contested 3 than you chase him off the line and he abuses inside.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Dave said this is a good game, but my God, Brunson complains a lot. You think Brunson complains a lot?
I think there was a stretch, like I was saying with the Grady when he was attacking Grady, and I think he got 2 consecutive non-call, which should have been N1s. And honestly, I did think he was gonna get a tech because he was demonstrative after both of them. And then the third one, he got the call, and he still went to the ref like I told you, he keep doing it. Like,
right, yeah. I know the one call when it went out of bounds off of dude. Yeah, I seen that. The one call when it went out of bounds off of dude, and the way he jumped around, I thought he was going to get a tech on that. You know what I mean? But, they didn't call the tech, but I thought he was going to get a tech. Does he complain? I'll say this. He does complain, but he always gets back on defense. He doesn't like stand there and complain. Randall does that sometimes, right? He'll stand there and complain to the ref while 4 players are back on defense. You know what I'm saying? And it's 5-on-4 on the other side of the floor, and Randall's complaining to the ref. Brunson, you know what I'm saying, he might, say something, but he's also getting back on defense. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll address it afterwards. You know what I mean? But at the level that he's playing and how he plays, he's always gonna get bumped. He's always gonna get hit. He uses his body a lot. He creates a lot of the contact. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be impossible for refs to call everything for him because he creates a lot of contact. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah. But I guess if you don't complain about it, you never get those calls, I guess. I'm saying you never get those calls. So, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. RJ and Quickley, their first Losers Lounge as a Toronto Raptor. The baby Raptors, like you see on your screen. Their first Losers Lounge.
First of many, hopefully.
First of many. Yeah, no doubt about that. First of many. Any other thoughts from the game?
It just felt like it was great to see. Everybody was engaged. I think there was a little bit of emotions on both sides. You know what I mean? I got a question though before we get out of here. What was your thoughts on both OG's performance and Precious' performance? On the reverse side against the Raptors.
Yeah. I thought OG played a good game. You know what I'm saying? He shot the ball well. Did what he normally does on defense. I think in the third quarter, you seen him create a little bit, right? Going off the dribble, he had a little step back jump shot. He scored off a transition. Where he I think it was Grady. Boom. I'm sure the Raptors should have been an offensive foul, but he bumped Grady, scored. Then I think he penetrated to the basket one time. So we got to see a little bit of that.
It wasn't like a breakout performance, but it definitely felt like he had not a chip, but you know what I mean, a little bit to prove, a little extra
Right.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I love the block 3-point shot of RJ Barrett. I think that was a huge play
Oh yeah.
at that moment. And his defense seemed to have an extra pep in his step. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that was just from the familiarity of going against those guys in practices and so on. But I think he was awesome against Barnes. I think he had some good plays against Boucher. Like, it was just a couple of moments where it just looked like he was familiar with what these guys like to do, and he was taking it away. So that was great. And then you go ahead, Lee. What about Precious?
And Precious, I mean, 18 points, 10 rebounds. I'll just say this: it was refreshing to see. You know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't been able to catch the basketball. I mean, he dropped at least one last night.
That Randall pass.
But one of them there was two Randall passes. One of them was there. Probably should have called it. The other one, Randall like beamed that joint. So I ain't expect him to catch that one. That joint has some fire behind it. You know what I mean?
You seen that possession? We didn't score, but we ended up getting like 3 offensive rebounds in a row. And Randall was whipping the pass like 3 consecutive times, like to open threes.
Right.
But the way he was passing that ball, I'm like, yo, it's no way they was in rhythm after that. You know what I mean? Like,
you're probably thinking like, God, my fingers hurt. I was supposed to shoot that joint.
But they were beautiful passes, and you know what I mean, no hesitation. He get it, whip it. You know what I mean? Miss the shot, get it back to Randall, whip it across the floor. I was like, yo, his passes is on point, but them joints look like they hurt.
Yeah. Franklin Inoa, hopefully I said his last name correctly, said that was an offensive foul. Let's keep it real. Gotta be from Canada because he spelled offense with a C. So must be a Toronto fan. I'm glad you joined us, Franklin. I don't know. I look back at it. I think Grady was still moving. And I think the referees agreed with me. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that right there. Franklin, how do you feel about your Toronto Raptors right now? If you are a Raptors fan, which I am assuming you're a Raptors fan, how are you feeling about the Raptors right now? That's what I would like.
Nah, he said he's a Knicks fan.
Say he's a Knicks fan? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I just figured, since the way that you spelled offense, that you was maybe you're from. Are you from?
Oh, he said he's in Canada. He's in Canada. He's from the Bronx, but he's in Canada.
Okay, so that's why he spelled offense that way. Okay, I get it. All right, cool. Knicks fan, like that. All right, so let me ask you this though: how are they feeling in Canada about this current team? How are they feeling in Canada about this current team? You know what I mean? I would think they should be feeling, they're young and rebuilding, but I think they should be feeling good about this team. You know what I'm saying? And that, they've got a good jump start on a rebuild. He said they feel good. Good. I mean, that's good. They should feel good about this team. Young team that's gonna, be good one day, I guess. And maybe be all right. So let me ask you this: how does this rival? All right, they got some good feelings towards each other right now. These two teams now, they, you know what I'm saying? Over the years, that's gonna fade a little bit. They'll remain friends, the players. But what if they become like some real rivals?
I mean, gotta meet in the playoffs first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, I think the more rivals, the better. It's better for the sport. You know what I mean? But it takes time. You know what I mean? Because I think it takes for me, it takes each team winning the series. You know what I mean? And so again, that's at least 2 years for a true rivalry.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the more it happens consecutively, the deeper the rivalry gets.
Right. Yeah, that's true. The Cooler says, Sim, we should try to get Gary Trent Jr. I heard he might be up for trade. Brunson Sr. played with Gary Trent Sr. on the same team, put the Suns together now. Huh. I didn't even know they played together. That'd be crazy. Yeah, listen, he would fit with the Knicks. Gary Trent Jr. He would definitely fit. I don't know what his contract is like, but I have no doubt in my mind that he'd fit with the Knicks as well. You know what I mean? As another shooter. How much is he a creator though? Because the Knicks really need that creator type of guy. How much is he a creator?
I think he's able to create, but that's not what you want to rely on him for.
Right.
I think if you're relying on him, it's going to be shooting. But here and there he could create, surprise you here and there. But if you're bringing him in as a creator, you're going to be disappointed, in my opinion.
Yeah. He makes 18.5 this year. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get up out of here. Want to make sure Tony gets to work on time. You got to work, right? It's 1:41.
Yes. Yeah. I'm put my shoes on. I'm headed out the door.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna head up out of here. We appreciate you for joining us. The Knicks spoiled the homecoming of Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, but it was a fun game last night. You know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we're up out of here. Be peaceful, and talk to you soon.
Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we losing.